Welcome back to another episode of Tips from a Former Wino, where I share with you pearls of wisdom of what I've learned having come to the other side of healing my alcohol use disorder. I hope you find this information helpful. Raise your hand, first of all, if you can hear my husband blasting Fat Freddy's Drop downstairs. Okay, moving on. Today's episode is about how knowing what you know and what you believe are different. Not always, but in the case of doing something that looks like an addiction, that is always true. And here's how I will explain that to you a little further. So for example, you know, on cigarette packages, there's often, well, here in Europe at least, I don't know how it is in other continents. Here in Europe, there's really graphic imagery on cigarette boxes, like dissected organs or blackened lungs, even cadavers, stillborns, people with tracheotomies, horrific imagery of trying to show you and illustrate visually what will happen if you continue to smoke. This is what smoking does. And yet I see people smoking all over the place. There's like people pushing strollers smoking cigarettes. There's a bus driver. I saw a bus driver at my kids' school get off the bus and smoke a cigarette like before the kids came out. And you know, like, to each his own, and we're all learning and we're all on our path. It's not to pass judgment on people who smoke. This is just to use an example. So on cigarette boxes, packages, there's all this imagery of like, here's what happens. Smoking is bad for you. There's studies that show this. This is based in science. This is a fact that smoking is bad for you, right? And yet people still smoke. McDonald's has been proven to not be the best for you. It's certainly not healthy. And people who go there know that, right? If you love McDonald's, maybe you probably know that it's not nutritionally dense food. And yet part of you is like drawn to it, wants it, is like, fuck it, I'm gonna have it anyway, and goes and gets McDonald's or goes and smokes a cigarette. And for those of us who prefer the alcohol vice, we're now learning more and more. There's so much more evidence coming forward and studies that get out of here and that it's not good for us. And we can look at that and we can see that as factually based and sound, and we can know that, but that doesn't mean that we believe it. So here's the difference, even further to illustrate the difference between knowing and what you believe. What you believe is not based in fact. It might correlate with some factual evidence, but it's not factual in and of itself. What you believe is personal to you, and it is your beliefs are put through your filters of all of the imprints of you in your life, your family, where you went to school, if you were raised in a religion, the culture that you live in, the country that you live in, the marketing that you see. All of this is peripheral filtering that facts come through and information comes through, and then our minds, our subconscious minds, pick what we like, what resonates with us, and that becomes what you act on. Not what you know, but what you believe. And what you believe about drinking or doing anything else that is otherwise proven to be not healthy for you, knowing that and doing it anyway, it's because there's root beliefs in you that it is helping you. And you will rationalize behavior based on what you believe. So if you believe that drinking every day is helping you because it helps you relax, it helps you manage stress, these are your beliefs. These are not facts. This is not what you know. You might know that, for example, an excess of vodka might cause cirrhosis of the liver. You might know that, but you might also rationalize, well, it's okay if I just have like my 2 martinis because that's not going to hurt me, and it actually really helps me decompress and it helps me relax. It helps me at the end of my day. It helps me transition. So however you believe that something is helping you, that's going to be a stronger driving force in what you do than what you know. Or any information that might come towards you that is showing you factually, evidently, that it's not good for you, right? We can know all that all day long, but until we change our beliefs, you're not going to change much. And that is why hypnotherapy can really, really help with this, because you're able to, in a hypnotherapy session, you're able to address your subconscious self-talk, your subconscious beliefs that you're like swimming in, that are hard to see. They're hard to see because you're so used to them, because they're just like the fabric of who you believe yourself to be. They've been with you so long. That's why it's difficult to identify and address, which is why a therapy like hypnotherapy can really help you do that. Reach out to me if you'd like more information on that. But today's episode was really just to give an opening, hopefully a more curious perspective on why people can know that something is not good for them and then do it anyway. It's the difference is because what you know and what you believe are different. And when you make those more in harmony, when you can get those more on the same page, you do feel like a more harmonious person, and you do make your actions based further out of believing that you are doing things that are good for you, that really are good for you, that are not smoking and eating candy and going to McDonald's and drinking. While those things can be pleasurable in the moment, we really know and we really need to more deeply believe that those things are not helping us as much as they are hurting us. See you next week.